On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup, we got players that are potentially have a breakout season next year for the Denver Broncos. Who are those players? Well, we're here to break that down for you tonight. Also, players that are likely to regress next year for the Denver Broncos. We're also here to break that down for you. And finally, you see it right here at the bottom of your screen, Denver Broncos Fantasy Football Draft, first ever edition here on the Denver Bronco Roundup. We have that on here as well. Join us tonight for all this fun, all football talk. We'll see you on the other side. And the show will start now. Welcome in, Denver Broncos fans and Broncos country. Welcome to another fantastic episode, action-packed episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup. I am your host, Trevor Salzman, tonight. There's two of us on screen. We have Mr. Lion Coffee next to me, my other co-host, Mr. Patrick Woolsey. Patrick, thank you for coming on Denver Bronco Roundup. This is your third week in a row. Love having you each and every week with me on here on this show. How are you doing, my friend? And how's life out there in Hawaii? I mean, I'm jealous of the kind of weather you have out there right now. It's up and down. It's hot and cold here. It's rainy. You got tornadoes here. I'm sure it's beautiful weather there, my friend. But how are you doing first and foremost tonight?
Slight bit of wind, and it's been like 85. It's been absolutely horrible. I don't know how anybody could stand it like I do. But, I get there. We figure it out. Not a bad day at all. Things are going pretty good, Summer vacation for school, so it's awesome. A little quieter. Weekends, it's a little busier out and about, but not pretty good.
Absolutely. Patrick, I think I'm going to make you happy tonight. I'm also drinking. I'm still drinking some Lion Coffee right in here next to me. So, excellent. Hey, this is a quick little bit of a sponsor, kind of, not a youth sponsor, just supporting Patrick, Lion Coffee. Go out there, support Lion Coffee, and go drink your coffee. Best coffee out there. And again, I wouldn't be telling you that because Patrick's on screen. I'm going to tell you the truth. Lion Coffee is the best coffee out there. Go out there, go get your coffee for all season long. Whether it's, right now we've got World Cup stuff going on right now. Baseball season still intact, but any kind of season, football season, load up on your Lion Coffee. Go out there, support Patrick and Lion Coffee because it's truly the best coffee out there. Patrick, great news hearing from you and how life out there in Hawaii is going. But I gotta plug Lion Coffee because it's the best coffee out there, and it definitely keeps me going. Need to get to a couple comments in here. Vincent comes in here and said, "Let's go, Broncos." In there, I got a lot of emojis in there. He said, "Fellas, I'm at the casino. Red or black?" Ooh, that's tough. I'd go red, but
yeah, I'd have to lean red. You never bet on not black.
Right. And here's the thing, Vincent. If you get black and don't come back on us, and it's not our fault. Just kind of throwing our 2 cents out there. You take that with whatever you want. You make the final decision on that one. We're winning a chip. Lock it in. Absolutely. Super Bowl kind of, caliber kind of team right now with Broncos. So we shall see. Guy, Mr. Ernie Mays coming in here and says, "Go Broncos country only. Think Broncos big, not 31. Team small." Hello, Patrick and Trevor. Hello, Mr. Ernie Mays. Appreciate you coming in as always. Love having you part of the show. Love having all of our fans part of the show. Please, if you're watching out there, comment, come along to the show. Me and Patrick have a lot of fun topics for everybody tonight, and including one segment that we've never done on the Denver Bronco Roundup before, but we're going to make it a yearly thing. I'm going to make that executive decision right now, make it a yearly thing. It'll be our Denver Bronco Roundup fantasy football draft, including the Broncos 53-man roster. You don't want to miss that towards the end of the show. Mr. Patrick Woolsey and I already did our fantasy football draft with the Broncos roster, and you don't want to miss it. We're going to put it on screen, all the players that we took in the draft. It's going to be action packed and a lot of discussion there. So you don't want to miss that towards the end of the show. But again, appreciate everybody coming in here, joining the show tonight. Patrick, I do want to get to one topic before we do hit the rest of our topics, and that is Sean Payton. Sean Payton canceling the final day of mandatory minicamp. A little bit of an interesting decision. It kind of seems like it's been a Sean Payton thing over the last couple of years since he's been in Denver. But I want your thoughts. Is there any concern there? Is it a little bit too much of a confidence thing, or just like a health thing? What's your thoughts on it? Do you have any concern on that at all?
I mean, a little bit of concern because, I mean, being a little bit older, I still remember the two-a-days and, things of that nature, and now it just seems like there's a lot more injuries and a lot of guys don't seem as prepared, but obviously he likes what he sees. And that's why I'm not the coach. I'm not the one making the decision. Right. So, I mean, it seems to have worked out so far for him. So, might as well keep it up, tradition. And I think the players look at the coach like, oh, maybe he isn't trying to kill us, so
right.
Maybe it works out a little better. Morale.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say it's this. I think he did. I think since Sean Payton's been here, I think he has canceled the last day of mandatory minicamp. I will say more and less if it's anything, it's the one last attempt for the players to go out with their families, go enjoy the rest of the offseason that they have. Again, a minicamp, or say training camp, starts in late July. Late July. We haven't got the official dates on that yet, but once we do, we will make sure to tell everybody, of course. But I think it's just one last break for the players, and it's a whole big, health thing too. Like mandatory minicamp, they don't have pads on yet, so it's like you're just running out there in shorts and shirts, and it's like in a helmet. I mean, so it's like again, it's important, but you can't take too much from that, and so I think right now it's really tough for players to kind of be able to show what they have physically on the field. It's more the mental stuff behind the scenes, I think, is what a mandatory minicamp is for, those 3 days. So we'll really get to see physically what this team is made of during training camp as well. Vincent coming in here says, let's go plus $100. Wow. So Patrick, I guess we were right on those chips anyway. Guess the red, of course. Vincent, congratulations, my friend. Hopefully you win a lot more tonight. Glenn Ashley, my other co-host on the Juice Football Talk Show, says, good afternoon, my Uso Rocket Man and Mr. Coffee, our juicers posse and newcomers. Absolutely, Glenn. Appreciate you, Glenn. Hope you're having a great night with Jackson, a great day with Jackson, because you're over there, across the bay from us. So hope you're having a great day with Jackson and having fun, my friend. Appreciate you coming in here and chatting with us. Patrick, let's get into our show topics we have tonight. I want to start with yours here first. Again, a lot of great ideas Patrick's been throwing out there as well, so I want to give Patrick a lot of credit for this as well. Patrick, here's the thing. Let's just get right to the nitty gritty. Which players are set up for a breakout season or player? I limited it to just me and you having one player each, because we can go players, but we're going to be here all night. We'll never get to the rest of our show topics. So give me one player that you feel pretty dang good about having a breakout season next year for the Denver Broncos.
I honestly think, to me, Troy Franklin's probably the one set up the best. I mean, you've got a lot of possibility for, just distraction wise. They're going to be looking at Waddle. They're going to be looking at Sutton. They're going to, Mims. They're going to be looking that direction. And, maybe he can sneak in. He can get those plays and sneak in. And by the time you notice, he's already gone. I mean, he's not. Nobody on that level is slow. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're slower, but I mean, so I mean, he gets that step on somebody, and he's got that playing with Bo before, that little, what do you call? I don't know, that not that mental, but
chemistry,
just that little kind of
knowing
his head a little bit. I think.
Yeah. Do you think so? When you say breakout year for Troy Franklin, what does that look like for Troy Franklin? I mean, is he the second leading pass catcher on this team? Because now you added Waddle, or do you think he is like he just blows everybody's socks off the water? Right. He's Bo Nix's number one guy.
I think he definitely sets himself up as a number two, a solid number two, as opposed to just making the roster. I think that, to me, that's what, I mean, breakout for him. I mean, you know, anything is better than the drops he's had and the flashes. I mean, if he can just sustainable flash, maybe should I call it, that it's more of I think he's definitely establishes himself as maybe like the go-to guy.
Okay.
Because they are looking for everybody else. I mean, there's a lot of eye candy now on that offense when you bring in Waddle. So
yeah. I mean, with Troy Franklin, this is the thing that I've been in on with Troy Franklin. The upside, he's got a ton of upside. I still, out of all the wide receivers in the Broncos wide receiver room right now, Troy Franklin still has probably the most upside in my opinion. I thought that was the case when he was drafted. Drops have been an issue for Troy Franklin. He had, I think it was a 10.4% drop rate coming out of Oregon. So drops were a big issue for him. But as time has gone on, I think he will continue to get better with that. And if, again, it drops more or less, sometimes they come with being a wide receiver. And so I think, hey, if he just has to worry about his hands and worry about catching the dang football, I mean, I think he's on a pretty good trajectory going into his third season now with the Broncos. I think you're right, Patrick. I think you're on point with, hey, I think Troy Franklin's going to continue to grow, and that arrow is going to be pointing up for Troy Franklin. I don't know if he's going to be Bo Nix's number one pass catcher in this offense with Waddle. That does concern me a little bit from a Troy Franklin standpoint, but I still think that chemistry that Bo and Troy Franklin have is something to mention. I think is very important. So I like that kind of under the radar kind of player that since Waddle, it seems like the Broncos acquired Waddle, he isn't really getting talked about enough. And so I like that pick there. For me, a possible breakout season. It's just tough. I will say, I mean, because you can go offense, defense side of the ball. And it's easy to say like Jalen Waddle, right? It's easy to say the newcomer, the new guy, to get him involved. But I think it's going to be J.K. Dobbins. I really do. I think J.K. Dobbins is out to prove a point. We've talked about Jonah Coleman, talked about R.J. Harvey. J.K. Dobbins is on a one-year contract, and I know everybody says, he can't stay healthy, he can't do this, he can't do that. I don't expect J.K. Dobbins to stay healthy all season long. When I say breakout, he was on pace for breakout season last year before he got hurt. Like, he can do it. It's just a matter of fact of him staying on the field. He knows that, and he's said it multiple times. Like, he has that in his mindset. Like, I got to stay healthy. Like, I've got to prove people wrong. Like, I'm not just this injured guy that you can just write on paper, I'm going to miss 8 games this season. So I think J.K. Dobbins, that mindset, I think his mindset switched a little bit. And I say this, like, I know I was different on J.K. Dobbins from last year, and I said before, like, hey, he's gonna, J.K. Dobbins is a guy that's going to miss some football games. I said that when the Broncos signed him last year. But I think he's out to prove a point this year with that new contract with the Broncos. He came back to Denver for a reason. He could have went off to Jacksonville. He could have went to a totally different team and a different fan base. He didn't. He stuck around here in Denver. I think he has a point to prove here in Denver. J.K. Dobbins, for me, is a guy that's going to have a breakout season, and I think he's out to prove people wrong. He's on a one-year deal, and I think what happened last year, I don't think was just a fly, kind of a fly on the wall kind of thing. I don't think it was just rare that J.K. Dobbins was on pace to have a breakout season last year. You just got to stay healthy and being durable, stay on the field has got to be big. For me, it's J.K. Dobbins. Patrick, your thoughts on that?
I could see that. My own, like I said, my only concern is similar when you brought up when we first got him, that the injury, he hasn't been able to sustain a full healthy season, and I mean that's my only. I don't know, that's why I guess I haven't put much faith behind him, is because he's shown that he didn't do that. And I don't think he meant to do that. I mean, I'm not saying he's on purpose, oh, I'm hurt. Oh, ow, because like you said, he was playing great. I mean, he was getting the ball. He was knocking over everybody. He was looking well with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think, but I could agree. I could see it. If he's healthy, I could see him definitely. Yeah.
And I
showing the way for the younger guys coming in.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't get talked about enough. I think with Jonah Coleman, it's going to take him some time to learn this offense. You're talking about learning Sean Payton's offense. You can say Davis Webb's calling the plays, and I understand that, but still, it takes time when you come into the league to learn an offense. It's going to take Jonah Coleman some time to learn this offense. J.K. Dobbins has already been in this offense. I think he already has a leg up on Jonah Coleman already. Jonah Coleman's kind of the backup plan if J.K. Dobbins goes down. That's from where I get with that draft pick. We'll see what happens, of course. I think Jonah Coleman, there is some upside there, but if you're the Denver Broncos, I think if your running game is going to be successful, J.K. Dobbins has got to be the guy. I mean, he's got to be the guy. He's already proven when he's on the field. 772 yards last year, 4 touchdowns. And then, oh, by the way, when he was with the Chargers, almost a 1,000-yard rusher, 905 yards and 9 touchdowns when he was in with the Chargers. And they put that exclusive tag on him. Remember that, Patrick, last offseason, which prevented him from signing with the team for a while. So, obviously, they value J.K. Dobbins enough. And I think this Broncos offense, if successful, will do that as well. I am going to get to a couple comments in here. Martin says, I love Franklin, but there's too much talent in our wide receiver room for a breakout year. I do believe he's capable of 45 to 50 receptions, 5 touchdowns, 700 yards, even more if Sutton wasn't on the team. Yeah, I mean, good point, Martin. Never know, though. I mean, you never know. You got to spread the ball around a little bit as well. I think Waddle coming in will help, but I think Troy Franklin still needs to show why he could be the wide receiver 3. There's competition in that wide receiver room, and if you don't want to be that guy looking out on the outside, because the Broncos have shown hey, we're not afraid to trade wide receiver. I mean, they just did it with Devon Bailey last year. So, Jack Kenna, a new name coming in here. Looks like a Raiders fan. Jack, welcome to the show. Appreciate you. Jack, here's the thing I want to mention. We have the Juice Football Talk Show, so it's interesting to come in on the Denver Bronco Roundup. Just know we appreciate you. We're thankful. But I want to mention the Juice Football Talk Show. We have that every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Me, Kenny Kirkpatrick, and Glenn Ashley, who you can see here in the comments. We do all 32 NFL teams. We break down all 32 teams, hot topics. We've got rankings each and every week as well. We've got a lot of different things going on. Also cover college football over there. So if you're interested in that, and sounds like something you'd want to tune into, just know we have that as well. So it's not just Broncos here. We cover all 32 teams, including the Raiders. So, but appreciate you coming in here on the Denver Bronco Roundup, and big shout out to you. Even Raiders fans are welcome in here. So just know that JK is still the running back. Broncos have better keep him healthy. Jack's coming in here on that. He's in green with me on that. Martin says a breakout season for JK would be any season where he's still playing at the end and ready to go for the playoffs. Yes, Martin, absolutely. Jack comes in here and says if JK is not healthy, then we will have to go to the pass. Yeah, I mean I think that's what's interesting with JK. It's I think he's probably your best complete running back right now. I mean, Jonah Coleman can be a part of the passing game, and he can be a good pass blocker. I just think JK, there's something to be said about experience in the NFL. And I'm sorry, I'm riding with JK Dobbins as much as I can. And people say, well, you got to baby him throughout the season, blah, blah, blah. No, let this man go prove a point. Let him go out there, not hurt himself, but let him go out there and prove a point. He's got that mindset already. Now, I'm telling you, what he was able to put up offensively for this team last year on the ground is very important, and I don't think gets enough credit. He was a top 5 running back probably in the league before he got hurt last year. The production's there. It's just, can he sustain that long term throughout the whole season? That's the big question. But the success is there. RJ Harvey was a disappointment last year, and we don't know about Jonah Coleman yet. So you can't even sit here and say Jonah Coleman's that guy. We don't know yet. He hasn't seen the field yet, and so competition's going to be big in that running back room. But I do think JK still has a leg up for me anyway, and I think that's why he has the potential to have a breakout season next year for me. Glenn says wide receiver room as a collective will thrive. Mims, Franklin, and Bryant will all be big contributors along with Waddle and Sutton. Yeah, I mean, Glenn, I will disagree with you on this one, and Patrick, please feel free to jump in on this. But I will say I don't think Marvin Mims and Pat Bryant will be as big of contributors. I think Pat Bryant is still going to be in the wings, maybe possibly for if the Broncos decide to move off of Cortland Sutton. I think that's a possible Cortland Sutton replacement. I do think Pat Bryant needs to show that he can stay healthy as well and be on the field throughout the season as well. Has some concussion problems. I believe, 2 concussions last year, Patrick? And so it's that's
Yeah, get that. Get that. He's the one that should get the big foam helmet thing there.
Yeah. And so he's got to prove a point just to stay healthy first and foremost. And Marvin Mims, Patrick, I'll say this right now. I'm not convinced Marvin Mims is still on this roster by the time the season starts. I wouldn't be surprised if they traded him.
Yeah, I could see that. It's funny you say Mims. That's unfortunately who I had down as our next part. So it's funny you bring Mims up that way. So
Patrick leaking who he has as far as a regression, maybe possibly in this Broncos roster. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, he's in the final year of his extension, like or contract, rookie contract, I should say. Like I don't know that I see them. Like, what's the point of bringing him back? I mean, like I know he's a Pro Bowl special teams returner, kick returner. I get that, or punt returner, but it's like if you can get value for him, I think this is the time to do it. The Broncos have shown they're not afraid to move players in that wide receiver room. I know you're in the Super Bowl window, but you can't go out there and find special team specialists that on a cheaper contract that you can put out there and be successful or close to what Marvin Mims brings to the table. So it's one of those things, like from a value perspective, if he has good value, I mean, if you can get a 4th round pick from Marvin Mims, the more draft pick and draft capital you're going to have going forward. And I'm just saying, for a guy that you're probably not going to bring back, it might be smart just to jump out in front of that and one and see. Glenn says, welcome, Jack. Absolutely. Jack, welcome again. Appreciate you, joining us. And please feel free to continue to interact throughout the show. And we'll want you to interact as much as possible, and as well, give your thoughts in the comments as well.
Yes.
Thank you for joining. And again, a new name for us here at the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Patrick, you kind of already hinted at it. Give your kind of reason behind. No, all good. Your reason behind Marvin Mims, a possible Marvin Mims regression going in next year for the Broncos. Sounds like you're a little down on Mims now.
I mean, I wouldn't say down on him. It seemed, he had big plays, big flashes, especially when we weren't looking for it. I think they're focusing everywhere else, and I think that's the reason he had those flashes. I mean, he does good returns, and he's never going to get paid what he wants to get paid, obviously, doing just returns. So I know that's why, he's wanting to get out there and prove it that he can be a receiver and a regular receiver and a good regular receiver. I just don't, with everything else, like you said in the room, you're saying Mims and Bryant not having much of a shot at some things. I think that room right now is loaded, and even without Waddle, it was fairly loaded. And now you've got Waddle, who hasn't established himself with this team, but has established himself in the league as someone to look out for. Does he even get the opportunity to showcase and go? And that's more why I think he, I don't know, gets in his head. Something gets in there and he just doesn't put out what he needs to put out and show them. And I think you're right. That wouldn't surprise me either, that he, they moved along on him because not that you can't get anybody. I mean, you can't train a monkey to catch a football, or I'd be out there doing it. But I mean, there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of alternatives out there that you could pick up somewhere along the way that could catch the ball and run it back fairly effectively, especially with the way they're doing kickoffs and whatnot this year. Punt returns, maybe not, but kickoffs.
Yeah. While we're still on Marvin Mims, Patrick, real quickly, give me your percentage that they trade Marvin Mims before game 1 of the regular season.
Before game 1, I'd say probably about 20, 25.
Okay. It's relatively low.
And then, And then during the season, just, like I said, if it plays out the way I would think it would start to play out, I think it's more, 65, 70. I mean, it's getting up there as it gets towards the deadline. Can we get another piece? Ooh, if we do this, we can get another piece, and the way it looks out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think if they're going to move off of Mims, I think it would have to be probably before game 1. I'll say that, because you got to have someone lined up to be able to replace Mims if you're going to move off of him. And again, I'm not saying that they should trade Marvin Mims for a 7th round pick. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, if they get offered a 4th round pick for Marvin Mims, and the team really falls in love with him, why are you still holding on to him? I mean, and risk losing him in the offseason. I know comp pick, comp pick in 2 years for this guy. Like you got to get value for him at some point in time, and you can replace a good kickoff returner. I'm not saying Marvin Mims is not a good player and this and this. Not. I'm just saying you can't pay everybody. Unfortunately, when you traded for Jalen Waddle, you kind of pointed at Marvin Mims probably being out the door. Like, hey, this is our wide receiver room for the near future. Sutton, Waddle, and even Sutton's future is probably in question going forward. But it's like you can't pay everybody. It's a cap-driven league. Yes, you can. There's ways to maneuver the salary cap. I get that, but again, you still got to pay Bo Nix a big amount of money going forward, likely. So it's like Marvin Mims, unfortunately, just probably not going to be here long term. But we shall see how it's going to pan out. Martin says, I'm fine trading Mims, but for a player, if we ride with him and we lose him in free agency, we'll be compensated with a 3rd round pick, I believe. I mean, compensatory pick wise, we'll have to see what kind of contract he gets from that. That'll tell us everything. Glenn Ashley says, I cannot see anyone being traded at all. This unit is critical to our success, a collective approach needed. You have to take those learnings from the playoffs where we were decimated. Absolutely. I mean, I would say, Glenn, I would say to that, no one thought Devon Bailey was going to get traded last offseason either, and guess what? They did. And then it's all because of value. It's all from a value standpoint. Like, you got a lot of depth in that wide receiver room, but it's like you get good value for him. I mean, they traded Devon Bailey when he had a multiple, years left on his contract, on his rookie contract. You have Marvin Mims in the final year of his deal, and they're likely not going to be able to pay him long term. It's just something that you got to keep an open mind to from a value standpoint and to see what they may do. But Patrick, give your thoughts as well. It sounded like you had something to say.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I didn't think, like back in the day, I didn't think they were going to get rid of certain Super Bowl 50 MVPs either. And then you see the value they get for them. So, I mean, you can't shake your head at things like that. You really got to be open to things like that. Yeah. I mean, I'd love for them to stay. I'd love for them to keep him. I hope I'm wrong about him. Yeah. But I mean, it's not, you can't be that way. I'm not now, not anymore. Not when, the level of free agency plays in the building of a team and the sustaining of a team.
Yeah. 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 And you're going to replace him with a rookie probably at some point in time, or someone that's cheaper. But it's a position where, hey, right, if you're not going to get involved offensively, I mean, what's your plan for Marvin Mims? I just think the Broncos are already telling you kind of what their plan is for Marvin Mims. Like, if he hasn't gotten involved before they moved, they traded for Waddle, he's probably not going to get the ball even more now with Waddle in play. So it's like, I mean, you're just going to use him on special teams or not. So we shall see. That'll be something that we'll continue to monitor going forward. But Jack comes in here and says, I've done shows with Richie for 2 years, been on a show with Bill and Spence. I do recognize that, Jack, on a couple other shows I've seen you on there. Again, welcome to the show. Appreciate you joining. And we have a large variety amount of shows coming up. We've got Denver Bronco Roundup you can catch every Saturday night with me and Patrick Wilsey, Jody Moncrief as well. Keith Brugman, once he's back, will be on here as well. 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the Juice Football Talk Show. And that includes Broncos as well. We cover all 32 teams. There's been talks about a fantasy football show down the line as well that we're looking to bring. So appreciate you joining, and thank you for joining into the comments as well. We love interacting with our fans and appreciate you being a part of our posse. Jack also says Denver's success will be in the running game. I mean, to a point, I will say.
It starts there. I think it starts there. I honestly think it, when you can pound at them, and when they're tired, third, fourth quarter, you're playing at mile high and they're sucking the oxygen on the sidelines. You put him in, you put somebody in that's running well. It's hard to beat that, and it eats clock, right? So
yeah. I mean, I want to believe the running game is going to be better because since Sean Payton has been the Broncos head coach, they've not had a 1,000-yard rusher, and I've spoken volumes about that. I've held that against Sean Payton for a long time. Hopefully this year they'll finally break that streak and get that 1,000-yard rusher. Because some people say
who was
it's not
the last one?
Philip Lindsay, I believe. because
I didn't remember.
Javonte was
I knew
close.
Lindsey was
Javonte Williams was close, but he never got 1,000 yards in Denver.
okay.
So and that's the thing. Like real quickly, I don't want to try to get too off topic here, but Javonte Williams, Patrick, he went off to Dallas and signed the minimum, and he just got paid. He was 1,000-yard rusher there. Very successful career in Dallas up to this point. That's what's concerning. Is like, yeah, you can have all this running back talent in the room that all you want. Reggie Bush, they didn't get the best out of Reggie Bush. That draft pick was kind of a bust there. Like, something with running backs and Sean Payton's offense is it doesn't mix very well, it seems like most of the time. Yes, Alvin Kamara has success. I get that. But it's like, I'm concerned. It's a concern of mine, and it will continue to be going forward. You've got to be able to use your running backs in your offense. And so we'll see. I just continue to point to Javonte Williams' success in Dallas and something he should have been successful here in Denver. And it should have been with this offense. So we'll see going forward, of course. But again, Sean Payton's offense, he'll still be a part of this. I still think he's going to use the passing game pretty heavily as well. Just got to do a much better job at running the football successfully. And once the running game works, be able to use that and carry that on throughout the game, not go away from it when it's working. Glenn says, Mims has more versatility than Franklin. Sutton is aging. I think and I don't want to trade anyone. Franklin's the most likely with Bryant. With Bryant being the next Sutton and Mims flourishing next to Waddle. Sounds like Glenn's a lot more on Marvin Mims than a lot of people are. We'll see, Glenn. I mean, I think they're telling you everything with the offense. Like, I think with how they run the offense, Troy Franklin's been more involved than Marvin Mims has. Troy Franklin has that connection with Bo Nix. Marvin Mims doesn't.
I'm not against Mims. I just don't think. I think with all the people that are there, you just don't hear his name from the coach's lips like you hear other people. So that's more why I think it's gonna be that way for him. Yeah. I mean, I think Sutton's aging, but Sutton's still a 1,000-yard wide receiver, and again, that's Bo Nix's safety blanket. And until proven otherwise, he'll continue to be that for Bo. So we'll see. A lot of different opinions, and I love hearing different people's different opinions out there. Jack says, "Thanks, fellas. Just try to keep it real." As an ex AFC host on MHRT network show. Yeah, Jack, we're the same way. I mean, absolutely. I mean, and we do post-game shows as well. So fun to interact with all of our fans as much as we possibly can. But we're the same way. We try to keep it real as much as possible as well. Try not to let the fandom get in the way. I've grown to know that over time more and more. So we're that way with all 32 teams, college football, everything. We're try to keep it as real as possible for our fans out there. But Patrick, let's continue on. I do need to get my Bronco that is likely to regress next season out there before we hit our halftime break, because our next topic will be very hopefully will be something everybody enjoys as well, and love to get everybody's thoughts. But for me, next player likely to regress next season, I'm going to say this, and it's probably not going to be too popular. I'm going to say Courtland Sutton. And I know I just said he's Bo Nix's safety blanket. Hear me out. Courtland Sutton's 1,000-yard wide receiver. I think he'll get close to it. I just think with the addition of Waddle's going to take away some of those throws otherwise that Bo Nix would be looking at more Courtland Sutton. I think Waddle, as the season goes on, maybe not week one, as the season goes on, will become one of Bo Nix's favorite targets. Eventually, that's going to eat at Courtland Sutton's yards, touchdowns, and et cetera, et cetera. And so, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Waddle is Bo Nix's number one target at the end of the season. We've talked about Trey Franklin multiple times as well. Like, you're gonna want to spread the ball around more. Sounds like from everything from what Davis Webb has said, like, they love Waddle. Like, he compared him to Stephon Diggs in Buffalo when Davis Webb was in Buffalo, like that kind of addition. So it's like, no, they really have big plans for Jalen Waddle. You don't just give up a first round pick and not get this guy involved, because that doesn't show very well on your return. So it's like, no, they're going to get Waddle involved, but they're also going to get Trey Franklin involved as well. So it's like, I could see Sutton having maybe a regression in his yards and his touchdowns. Again, he's been a 1,000-yard wide receiver through multiple different quarterbacks. He's been such a true warrior, through this offense, through the different changes at quarterback for the team ever since he's been drafted. But I do think this is probably the season where we see Courtland Sutton take a step back a little bit.
with the addition of Waddle. There also seems like there's a lot of intrigue in trying to get Evan Ingram involved in this offense more. That'll take away a little bit as well. So it's like trying to spread the football around even more so. Adding Jalen Waddle to this offense will only take away some of those repetitions that otherwise Cortland Sutton would have gotten. But Patrick, your thoughts? I don't know if it was surprising to you. Cortland Sutton likely want to be one of those Broncos next season that will probably regress.
I'm a little surprised that's where you went. I thought, I don't know why. I don't know. I didn't have anybody in mind that you were going to pick, but that's not who I thought you were going to go at. Mm-hmm. But I mean, regression isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if Waddle's a 1,000-yard receiver and he's a 1,000-yard receiver, he's just not 1,400.
Yeah.
It's, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what's going to happen. So, I mean, it's a natural thing to happen. It's something you want to happen. You don't want just one go-to guy on your team. So, I mean, he has been that man up to this point. And I think he sticks around. And when you need him this year, I think that's when he's going to do it. So, I mean, I could see him being regressing a little bit, but merely just because of stats and whatnot, not his willpower, not his, heart, nothing like that. Just, yeah, no, I can agree with that. I don't know that I like it, but I can agree with it.
I like it if this team's able to move the football. I think all Broncos fans should be able to agree with that. Like it's, hey, you want to see Cortland Sutton succeed, and you never want to see players regress, but it's like they want to get more players involved, and you just got, invested heavily, pretty heavily in the wide receiver room where Cortland Sutton plays. I mean, I know it's not the same exact position at wide receiver, like Cortland Sutton's more of an X, but and Waddle will move around a little bit, but it's like, again, they're going to want to get Waddle involved, and they're going to want to get Evan Ingram involved. I think that's one thing with Davis Webb that you will see more of, is he wants to get the tight end more involved with this offense, and that's why I think a big reason why Evan Ingram's still on this roster is Webb's plan for him going forward. Other than that, I'm not sure that we see Evan Ingram back in Denver if Davis Webb's not the OC.
Yeah, definitely. I think he'd have been, if they weren't leaning that way, I think he'd have been gone during the year last year. But
Glenn comes in and says Waddle's acquisition will improve the run game. Coleman will add a real Dodge Ram type workload to the RB room. Maybe over time, Glenn. I just don't see that right away. I don't see them, unless Jonah Coleman blows the socks off the coaches at training camp and throughout the preseason. He's got to earn his get. I mean, you can say what you want about J.K. Dobbins injury wise, but he's been there, done that. He's shown production. They know that, and that's why they've also brought him back. Is like, he's a guy that they can really count on when he's healthy. It seems like so.
Right. Well, it's what is his pass blocking at? If his pass blocking, that's what's going to keep him on the field is the pass blocking.
Yeah.
That bowling ball will get him on the field here and there when they need it, but if he can't pass block, they're going to know that's what he's coming on the field for, and it's not going to do him any good. So
yeah. I mean, I think Jonah Coleman, he's more apt to do that than, of course, R.J. Harvey. And speaking of another guy that needs to improve next year, R.J. Harvey. Right now, it's a little difficult with that draft pick right now. It hasn't really panned out. So big next year was going to be a big year for that running back room in general. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, the book's out on those guys. Like you've got to have good seasons next year. And if you're not, I mean, they're not afraid to move off running backs either. They did it with Audric Estimé. I mean, they're not afraid to move off some of these playmakers. So something to keep in mind going forward. Like some of these guys, in that running back room, there's some pressure on quite a bit of those guys. Other than, Jonah Coleman doesn't have a lot of pressure on him right now. J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey do. Absolutely. Phil McLaughlin comes in here and says, good evening, Rocket Man and Mr. Coffee. Just stopping to say hello. We'll catch pod on replay. Family here for Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the dads out there and sent some stars. Thank you, Phil. You're amazing as always. Everybody, all of our fans are amazing. But Phil, you're amazing. You've been with us, for so long, podcast after podcast, show after show, regardless of what show it is. You're there supporting us, Phil. Just know we really appreciate it. Happy Father's Day to you. And I copy that as well. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Just know you're all appreciated, and hopefully everybody has a great Father's Day tomorrow as well. And Patrick, happy Father's Day to you as well. I think it's one of my favorite days of the year, and hopefully everybody out there, will be able to enjoy it as well with their family. Martin says, I think Sutton's numbers will decline, and there's a lot of mouths to feed. But I think his touchdowns will stay the same. He's too big a red zone threat to ignore. 100%. Could see that as well, Martin. He says, "Gentlemen, gentlemen, gentlemen, great to see you. The new jersey everyone will buy in 2027 will be." Patrick, go ahead.
I think it's going to be Waddle, because I think Waddle's going to step in. Like you said, he's going to step in and show why they traded for him and why he's considered a first-round pick. So, instead of the first-round pick,
New Jersey. I mean, I still think Bo Nix is going to be popular. Keith, you can call me out on this. Might be a lazy answer, but it's true. It's true. There's not a lot of additions. What I'm going to say, but
it's not a new jersey unless they're coming out with a new style. The Knicks one isn't a new one, and I think that's what I'm getting from his question there. What's the new one? The new man on the scene.
Probably Jonah Coleman. I'll be honest. I think he's one of the more popular Broncos out there. Unless one of these rookies just breaks out and they're the starter, I think it'll be Jonah Coleman probably. Just because he's a running back, he's a popular name on the streets. Within the Broncos rookie class. So, New Jersey. That's the thing, Patrick. It's hard because you brought in Waddle and not a whole lot other than the rookie class. So it's I think Patrick got the easy answer there.
I got jumped in. Jumped on that one fast.
All good. Real quickly, Glenn says, I think Sutton's catch numbers will go down. His yards, however, will be 1,100 plus with Waddle due to not getting all double teams. Possibly, Glenn also says common sense has Coleman in for blocking plays to ensure that the tread on Dobbins is protected, and he's an extremely good blocker. My question for both of you, we'll hit this quickly, Glenn, Patrick, and then we'll hit our Morgan Trinkets break and our halftime break here. My question for both of you is, who misses the 53 at running back, wide receiver, and tight end?
I could see McLaughlin missing running back wise, or is it, how do you say, is it Bidet?
Yeah.
Bidet.
Tyler Bidet.
Bidet.
Yeah.
I could see that. Wide receiver wise, I don't know. That's hard because that one's hard for me. But I could definitely see it. Unfortunately, maybe being Bryant just because of the injury concerns. But
okay, that's kind of a shocker.
That's a hard one to come back from. That's even from back in the day, that's what ended Steve Young. That was the only concern they had when they were he was leaving Frisco or talking about leaving Frisco. That was the big, Denver was all set to sign him from what I remember hearing back in the day. And, they were more worried that he was going to have to check his ID in his pocket to remember his name as opposed to if he got pulled over. So,
yeah.
That's the only Brian I could see. And then tight end, probably Kroll.
Okay.
Because you're not gonna. They've given some good money out that way, so I don't think it's going to be Troutman. I don't think it's going to be, that side. I think it's going to be more just from sheer numbers, just because you got guys that you're paying that you need to produce. I think is the reason, not because of something he's doing or not doing.
Okay. I would say for me, it's probably Julian McLaughlin's on notice. I think it's pretty evident of that. So I would say McLaughlin. Tyler Bidet, I agree with you on that one. Patrick, I think he's on notice as well. Although these guys, I think, will be on the practice squad. I think these guys have passed through enough. Jaleel McLaughlin, if he hits the practice squad, I think I could see a team picking him up, though. So he's one that's I'm on the fence with because I think he would get picked up by a different team if he ended up hitting the practice squad. But Day's had a little bit more practice squad time, and so I think he's unlikely to get picked up. Keep in mind, it's with the Broncos when they decide this stuff, who makes the 53-man roster. It's who's not going to get picked up and poached away from us sometimes, and then obviously they have a pretty good idea most of the time of who's going to get poached away from them and who's not. That's why you see some of these moves happen when players staying on the roster, and also being on the practice squad. So yeah, I mean, I think Pat Bryant would get picked up though. I think if he didn't make the 53-man roster, I don't see them keeping him on the practice squad. And the way they invested in what Pat Bryant's a 3rd-round pick, and so it's like, I just don't know that I see them moving off of him that quickly. I think they'd like to see how he comes back from that injury. Concussions are a big thing with him, of course. Hopefully he's able to figure that out a little bit more, stay on the field more. Michael Bandy, I think he's one of the easier answers as well. I can see him going to the practice squad and be able to pass through pretty easily. Little Jordan Humphrey, Patrick, I know that you're a pretty big, little Jordan Humphrey kind of fan. I think he's been passed through enough. Like I've been around the league enough to where teams kind of know who he is at this point. I don't think he'll get poached off the practice squad. I think you could probably pass him through. And keep in mind, when these guys go to the practice squad, you can actually elevate these guys up. I think 2 or 3 elevations they have throughout the season before you get added into the 53-man roster. So
is it one per week, or is it 2 per week? You can elevate.
I think it's 1 per week. I think
one person, one player.
Yeah. But I'll have to double check on that for sure. But just that's what's I think is cool about the NFL is you have that capability of doing that. Back in the day, you didn't. So it's like now you have that option to do it. It doesn't mean these guys can't make, be on the game day roster too. So it's just something to keep in mind. Tight end, real quickly for me, I think Nate Atkins is on notice a little bit as well. I know that they like Nate Atkins, but again, are you gonna? Is Justin Jolie not going to make this 53-man roster? Doubtful. I mean, I think he'll make it 100%. I think he'd get poached pretty easily if you put him on the practice squad. Troutman's going to make the roster with his contract, and then obviously Evan Ingram. I mean, Evan Ingram, unless like they find like if Justin Jolie comes in and like he again knocks people's socks off, then I could see them moving off of Evan Ingram because he's more of an Evan Ingram archetype. But I don't think that's going to happen right now, just what their plans with Evan Ingram is.
And even then, I don't think he would miss the 53. I think they would see what value, if anybody trade anything for him, if they could get any sort of a pick out of it and try to make it recoup anything. But I don't think he'd miss the 53. He might not be on the 53, but I don't think he'd miss.
I don't think a team would take on his contract though. I think they would just let the Broncos release him probably and then pick him up on a new deal, league minimum probably kind of thing. With where his money's at, what he's making, whatever team trades for him would have to take on that money. And I don't think if he gets beaten out from this roster, I don't think any team would do that. I think they would just wait and make the Broncos release him. But we shall see what happens going forward. Nate Atkins is probably the biggest one out of that. Like where he could not be on the 53-man roster. I think he's been on notice a little bit. Lucas Kroll, but Lucas Kroll's like he's Lucas Kroll. Like he's probably not gonna make the 53-man roster. We'll see though. I mean, hopefully for him, his sake, it's he brings some competition in for the team's sake, but we shall see. Patrick, we got to get to our Morgan Trinkets break, our halftime break. So let me get that loaded for everybody, that video. And again, if Keith, if you're out there, please in the comments put what Miss Pearl has coming up with some of her shows. But in the meantime, let me find it really quickly so I can play our Morgan Trinkets video. Please enjoy this short clip of Morgan Trinkets, and we'll be right back. That was our wonderful sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Miss Pearl, thank you very much, so very much for everything you do for us on these shows, sponsoring us left and right. Every show we do, just know that we appreciate you. And again, Keith, if you can drop what she has, her upcoming shows, I'll make sure to put it on screen whenever you get a chance. And here we go. I got right here on cue, Mr. Keith Brugman. We got July will be crazy. July 4th, Fed Feathers Lakes Craft Show, Cheyenne Frontier Days. July 17th through the 25th, Cheyenne Depot Museum, our 30th year there. So again, you can go catch Miss Pearl there. Keith, thank you for putting that on the screen or in the comments so I can put it on screen. And a big shout out to Miss Pearl for being an amazing sponsor. Miss Pearl, we love you, and we hope you're doing well. And again, go support her shows. Get a couple other comments to get to before we get to our last segment. Glenn says, "Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, single dads and mothers, relatives playing the dad role." 100%, Glenn. It's very important that whatever role you play in somebody's life, if you got to play that dad role, take time out of your out of your day tomorrow and again celebrate, because it's awesome. It's really awesome. And Glenn, thank you for putting that in the chat. Keith's giving me crap. Bo Nix ain't new. 100%, Keith. I know that. Nice answers though. He comes back. Jonah Coleman, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's hard when the Broncos have one one big offseason acquisition and not much else. So other than the draft, Patrick, while I load this up, we got our first Denver Broncos fantasy draft that we did behind the scenes, first ever in history, Denver Bronco Roundup history, never been done before. I'm going to load it up on screen for us here in a minute. And we'll explain kind of what we did here once I load it up on the screen. It's covering me and Patrick for a minute, so bear with me as I'm trying to put us on the side of the screen here. Here we go. Okay. All right. I think we're good here. There we go. On the screen here. First ever you senior, first and foremost here. First Denver Bronco fantasy football draft board, 53-man roster. Me and Patrick kind of came up with this idea where we have we have quarterback, running back, 3 wide receivers, offensive line, tight end, defense, and a head coach. Can't pick Sean Payton. We didn't choose a kicker or anything like that because you got one kicker and one punter. Like, okay, it's important, but again, there's not multiple players to choose from, so that's why you can see that blank at the end of our list from each of us. Just know, hey, we're thinking about those kickers too, and they're important. Don't get it twisted here. Basically, Patrick and I had our own draft behind the scenes, fantasy football draft behind the scenes, but we did it with the Denver Broncos 53-man roster, projected 53-man roster going forward. Patrick had the first pick, and he ended up taking one defensive player, Patrick Surtain. So we were allowed one defensive player as a whole. We were allowed to choose between either Vance Joseph or Davis Webb as your head coach. We have one offensive lineman able to choose from. Patrick, kind of explain your list here to our great fans out there. First ever fantasy football, 53-man roster, Denver Bronco Roundup episode segment that we've ever done. I think this is a fun segment. We're going to try to do this each and every year going forward. This is our first one. Patrick, please tell our fans kind of your mindset when you were building your team, and are you happy with how your team ended up turning out?
I am happy with how things turned out with it. I mean, obviously, yeah, you want the best picks of everything, but from what was there, I like my choices. I wasn't hesitant. I don't think so when we were setting it up at all. I'm pretty sure as soon as you asked, I was sending who my choices were, so I don't think I was very hesitant about it. But I mean, I picked Surtain first because, I mean, I'm sorry. I still think defense wins championships. Offense is going to get you there, and yeah, the points go. But if you don't have the defense to back up spell your guys, I don't think you're going to get anywhere. And I don't think you can go wrong with one of the top corners in the league since he's been in the league. So, I mean, that cuts off in one entire section of the field. Basically, you're not putting passes, you're not putting plays that way. So, I mean, that's why I went with Surtain. Let's see, the second one. Who did I go? Oh, Sam. I went. I like his heart. I like where his head's at. Like you've said before on other shows that he had the opportunity to go other places, and he didn't. And to me, I think that says a lot about. I mean, he knows something. They've been talking to him. They've done something. They like what he does for whatever reason. So, I mean, I would just basically heart. Just his what he brings that way is kind of why I went that way. I think Coleman's going to come out and be good. That's why I went with him. I think he's, like you said, in time. I don't think game one he's going to be the, oh, look, 100 yards, 100 yards, no. But he's going to be what they need if and when they move on from Dobbins. I mean, obviously they're going to move on from him at some point. I mean, he's an older player. He's been in the league a little bit. So, they're going to have to do that. Mm-hmm. And I like Sutton. I went Sutton because I think he's been there. I think he's shown he can be there. And that's I think he's the one that's, oh yeah, he's had a drop or two, but who hasn't? I mean, you can't name very many people that haven't had one here and there. Yeah. I went with Bryant because I think he has the most upside if he can get over those issues. And I know I said I don't think he'd be on, but if somebody was going to miss out of the wide receiver room, that's who I thought, unfortunately. But I like him. I think like you said, they didn't waste a pick on him. I think, he's going to be strong. He's going to be in there. Humphrey, yeah, you knock him down, but he's always found a way back. Mm-hmm. I mean, since Peyton's been here, it seems like he's always, he was completely gone. Wasn't he out of football even? And what do you know? Here he comes back. So to me, that says a lot about his heart and his head too, that he's right there. He's ready to go. Mm-hmm. And Jolie, Ingram's great, but he just hasn't shown me anything to me other than a play or two, a flash or two that just far too brief. And I think that kid's going to be hungry. I think he's going to be ready to prove it and ready to go. Miners. I'm not either. Yeah. Quinn. Yeah. I think, he's been solid. I mean, how you don't hear his name being brought up as getting beaten, but you don't hear his name as, he's what you want. You don't hear it in any way. To me, if an offensive lineman, you hear his name, it's hardly ever a good reason that you're hearing the offensive lineman's name. So, I like that part. But I grew up in the silent, the Broncos weren't, they weren't allowed to speak to the media, offensive line. So, I enjoy that part of it, that you don't hear his name. And then, like I said, I explained Surtain. That's why I went that way. And Webb, I don't think he's there yet, but I honestly think he's going to be one of the younger offensive gifts to the NFL. We've got, you got one in the Rams, you got one, these guys that have come out of not necessarily nowhere, but they're, they don't look like they're young enough to have retired from playing, let alone been, jumping into to be coaching and telling these guys what to do. So yeah, that's kind of why I went where I went.
Yeah, it certainly seems like you went with more size there, Patrick, especially your wide receiver room with Sutton, Bryant, and Lil Jordan Humphrey. Size is what seems like to be your priority. Jonah Coleman, same thing. The bulk, the aggressiveness that Coleman brings to the table. You can see from my team, I want with a little bit more speed. So I think that's what stands out as well. And I thought it was interesting, Patrick. You went with Sam Ehlinger over Jared Stidham, and again, I keep this in mind. I with my first round pick, I took Bo Nix. Got to prioritize that quarterback. Got to get that franchise caliber quarterback. And but Patrick, I thought it was very interesting when you sent me the name Sam Ehlinger. I thought almost, like I was seeing stuff. I thought I was going to fall off my chair once I seen that. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I'm not the only one that's a little bit higher on Sam Ehlinger than I am Jared Stidham. But yeah, I thought that was interesting about your team. Justin Jolie, I thought that was interesting his pick as well, over Evan Ingram. And keep in mind, I want to explain to this with everybody out there. Me and Patrick went round to round picking these players. And again, everybody out there, please throw your vote out there. What team, Patrick or I, all the names you can see it on the screen here. Which team would win more games, in your opinion? Which team do you like? What do you not like about some of our teams? And please throw it out there. Like throw your answers out there in the comments. Maybe we can even post it on Facebook and see what everybody thinks as well. Even after the show, or whenever, just give your thoughts and feedback to some of our teams. I think these are really interesting teams and well mixed up pretty well. So, I can't disagree with you, Patrick. You went Patrick Surtain with your first round pick. That's the best corner in the game. I probably went Patrick Surtain if you didn't. So, I certainly like that pick. And I just think that your team, like, is well set up to run the football. You have Quinn Miners. Again, you can argue that he's the Broncos' best offensive lineman, and so I think you're set this team up for success, being able to run the football. But for me, with my team, of course, with Bo Nix, I mean, I got to get that franchise quarterback round one and solidified that. J.K. Dobbins, I've grown more on the J.K. Dobbins train, I will admit, than I even was a couple weeks ago. I do think like he has a great opportunity in front of him to really have a bounce back season. Jalen Waddle, he was, I think, my second round pick. I mean, I think he's going to be involved in this offense a lot. I really do. Like you're not trading a first round pick for a guy that you're not going to get involved in this offense. I think he'll lead this team in catches and receptions this season. I would be surprised if he didn't. It means things probably didn't go well. And so there's pressure on that move. Troy Franklin, I've been a big Troy Franklin guy for multiple seasons since they've drafted him. I still think he's got a ton of upside, as I said earlier. Marvin Mims, he's my wild card. I mean, he's my wild card that I can use in different packages, different fronts, jet sweeps, whatever. Heck, give him let him run the football a couple times. I mean, who knows? But like Marvin Mims with his speed, I think like speed adds a lot to your wide receiver room. That's what Waddle does, Franklin does, Mims does. Like I'm gonna outrun teams as much as I possibly can. I want that, little dump down pass, that screen passes go, the whole way, go the whole 9 yards and go down and score a touchdown. I want that. But I can certainly understand where Patrick's coming from, where he wants the size too. And then again, going down to Garrett Bowles. I mean, he's one of the better left tackles in the game. I think he's probably a top 12 left tackle in the game, more or less. But he's still very solid. Like you can count on Garrett Bowles to pass pro very well and protect your quarterback at a high level. And this guy's been through the ups and downs of Denver and being in the NFL more than anybody. Love Garrett Bowles' passion for the game. I went with Evan Ingram over Justin Jolie at tight end because for me, Evan Ingram, again, I think he's going to get more involved in this offense. I think they got big plans for him in this offense, more than maybe what others think. I think last year he was frustrated, clearly not getting the receptions that he wanted. The one thing will concern me with both Bo Nix is, hey, will Bo Nix look his way a little bit more? We shall see. I think he will. But I think Davis Webb has a clear plan for Evan Ingram to get Evan Ingram involved. And then Zach Allen defensively, for me, this guy doesn't get enough credit for what he does, Patrick. I mean, seriously, like this guy led this team in pressures. I think he had like 50 pressures for this team this year. Nick Bonino, you can tell me all day, and that was kind of where I was at, left and right. Like after you took Patrick Surtain defensively, it's like, okay, one player I can take defensively. Who makes the most impact? Yeah, you can argue Nick Bonino. I get that. You can argue Riley Moss. I get that. But Zach Allen is that defensive guy up front. He takes the double teams. He puts pressures on quarterback. He's there stuffing the run. You've got to have a bulldog, a real elite caliber defensive lineman. He's been their best free agent signing since Sean Payton's came to Denver. I mean, seriously, like he's been their best free agent signing up to this point. So it's like, I love me some Zach Allen. He don't get enough credit for what he does. 7.5 sacks this last year, but again, sacks don't tell you everything. Pressures tell you everything. Right. I mean, that's not, I shouldn't say everything, but it's a big factor.
Around him better.
Yeah.
That's the, that was the I did say Surtain early in my thoughts, and then I'm like, oh, but when I saw you did that, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I was kind of disappointed in myself for a minute that I didn't jump that way.
Yeah. Gonna want to get to a couple comments in here. We have 31 scrubs, just one elite. Welcome to the show. We really appreciate you coming. New name. I haven't seen this name before. I just know, again, love having you a part of the show. Thank you for joining in and commenting. We appreciate it. And we're doing well. How are you doing? Hope you're enjoying a great Saturday night and great to see you.
Good.
Martin comes in here and says, let me get this right, Patrick. Third string quarterback, third string running back, wide receiver, 2 and 3, and then one who won't be on the team. Tight end, who knows what his role will be. Sorry, Pat. Trevor's team is going to kill yours. The criticism's coming. No. I will say, Martin, you got Cortland Sutton. I will say, like, I love Quinn Miners. I think Justin Jolie, with his upside, like he's got more upside than Ingram. I think Patrick seems a lot of upside, I will say. But Patrick's got a lot of sides. Like, you better be ready from a quarterback standpoint. Like, I mean, to really, like, lock down these guys, because there's a lot of size in Patrick's wide receiver room.
And I went with a lot more the heart, a lot more of what I felt, that what they were showing me, like, not like, oh, I've made it, I'm in, these guys, Ellinger, he hasn't made it, but he's fighting, he's in there. I like that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Love seeing the criticism though, Martin. I mean, appreciate you keeping it real because we keep it real. So appreciate the realness but I do think Patrick's got a point to this with like Sam Ellinger. Like I think there's a real shot. Now we've talked about this multiple times. I certainly have this offseason of like I don't think it's a surefire thing, closed doors. Jarrett Stidham's the number 2 quarterback on this roster. Sam Ellinger, they're going to give him a real shot to compete with Jarrett Stidham, and they should. Jarrett Stidham, you can give him credit all you want. Fine. He looked great in the preseason last year. AFC Championship game, for the first quarter, he looked good. Maybe you can argue first half, but still wasn't good enough. And I know that like there could have been things better, like especially running the football, but it's like, yeah, I still like you got to see what Sam Ellinger at least has. Like there's a reason he's stuck around this long. He could have went elsewhere, like Patrick said earlier. Like I think there's something there with Sam Ellinger. So I like Patrick's going outside the box feature with going after Sam Ellinger and taking him over Jarrett Stidham. He says Trevor's team, Bo Nix is the difference maker there. Yeah, I mean quarterback, it's difficult because it's one quarterback. So I mean it defines a lot and it defines a lot with the team, but unfortunately for Patrick and I, there's not a lot of options other than Bo Nix. So and then again you got Ellinger and you got Stidham, but that's about it. We're really limited in what we can do. So I thought Patrick, I like his outside the box name with Sam Ellinger as his starting quarterback. Bowles is the top 5 to 10 left tackle, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I think you can make that case. I think he's probably closer to 10, but I would say, I mean, still, Garrett Bowles is still very solid. It's Biggie Bronco. Biggie, welcome. Again, really want to continue to say our thoughts and prayers are with you and hope you're getting to feeling better and hope you're improving each and every day. Love to see you in the chat and thank you for being here. Yeah. And that's a great name. So thank you for coming in, Biggie. We appreciate you and prayers to you all, my friend, and great to see you tonight and hoping you have a great Saturday night. And hopefully we'll have a great Father's Day tomorrow as well. TW says Harvey is running back 3. It's interesting, Patrick. We left RJ Harvey off our list. We had one running back because again, we got to make this to where it's strategic as well. I mean, we were able to pick 3 wide receivers because a lot of the times, I mean, when you're doing fantasy football, sometimes the layouts are like this. We could have easily added more running backs than this, but wanted to keep it strategic as well and kind of make it our own. So it was interesting to see some of the names that we put on our list, Patrick, but also some of the names we left off our list. And RJ Harvey was one of those guys.
True. We did leave him off. I don't know. I want to see him do well. I don't know. He just doesn't seem big enough to me. I mean, that's not the one I'm going to trust to get, when I need 1 yard, it's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, I'm not trusting that I'm going to be able to hand him the ball and he's going to be able, even if he takes or misses that hit, that he's going to get that yard, at least in my eye test.
Right. Yeah. I mean, RJ Harvey still has a lot to prove upon for me. I wasn't excited about the draft pick. You can go back and watch we did a couple draft show last year, and I did not like the pick. Keith Brugman was big on RJ Harvey. Not calling Keith out or anything. I'm just saying RJ Harvey up to this point hasn't panned out, and I wasn't a big RJ Harvey fan. I think they way overdrafted him. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if all these running backs can eat in this offense. I mean, you got a lot of running backs you're trying to rely upon. And I know Sean Payton likes to use a mixture of different running backs, but it's like also you got to be careful with that, and you got to stick with the hot hand at that given game and that given moment as well. So something to keep in mind going forward. Biggie, again, he said, with a little bit of a health update, he says, I go in surgery again on the 30th. So I still need all your prayers. They got removed the bottom half of my liver and the lower part of my lower bowels. Just know, Biggie, again, our thoughts and prayers are with you each and every day. Hang in there, stay strong. You got a heck of a community behind you, and just know, my friend, we're thinking about you every show we do, and then we do these shows for all of our fans out there, including you, and you're a big part of what we do. So thank you very much for the update on your health. And our our continued prayers will be with you. So thank you very much for the update. Patrick, anything else that you have to add to our list and just to say to our fans out there?
I don't know. I mean, the only thing is, I mean, I can see Martin's point. I did mention that Bryant wouldn't even. But in my defense, I said if there was, it wasn't that it was, it wasn't that because of these things. I did try to somewhat back myself up a little bit so that I wasn't completely backed into the corner. But
all right.
But that's about the only. He's not wrong. I mean, I did go that direction, but he's not wrong. I think he's wrong that your team would beat mine. I think I'm going to do well with that. But maybe he's not as correct as he could be. I will say he's not wrong. He's not as correct as he could be.
Right. I'd have to make the difference. I think my team will beat yours, Patrick. But I mean, again, I'm not trying to be a homer. So
we were homers for this one, though, right? This is all Denver, right? So we were homers. You're just trying to be the bigger homer. It's okay.
Right. Trying to be the victorious homer anyway. I will say, though, in your defense, Patrick, who else are you going to put as your wide receiver 3? I mean, or in this case, it's 2. Michael Bandy. Right. I mean, like, you don't really have much of a choice. So it's like,
no, true.
You gotta have
you did. You grabbed Franklin and Mims quick. So
yeah. Got to stack those wide receiver rooms, man. As much as you possibly can. Got 3 of them. Get to a couple more comments, and then we'll get to our final thoughts, Patrick. Unless you have anything else to add onto this.
No, nothing really pressing. I didn't notice that I picked larger receivers until I'm like, oh yeah, he is big. Oh yeah. I guess Coleman's more of a bowling. Yeah, so I didn't even notice that till I was like, wow. Subconsciously there, I guess I did that. I didn't even mean to do that. So that's a good play.
Yeah. I mean, that's a sneaky play. Maybe Patrick's got, planning behind the scenes. I don't know, but sneaky good play possibly as well. But no, I mean, again, everybody out there watching the show, even after we, get off air, in the comments, please put like, hey, who has a better team, and any suggestions going forward, because we want this to be a topic going forward. In the next year, like next year's team. We'll do this every year going forward. I think it's a fun topic to kind of get away from the current news and what's going on right now, but it's also like, hey, it's fun to put it together in a strategic way to put together our own team using the Broncos 53-man roster, our own team. And it's kind of a fun little twist to our show. So, but everybody, again, throw suggestions out there. I hope everybody liked this kind of segment. I'm always trying to be creative and think of new topics and new segments for everybody out there. So, but again, throw your vote out there. Who had the better team out of me and Patrick, and who would win, and what do you like and what do you dislike? But yeah, Patrick, I think I had a lot of fun with this segment, and I was looking forward to getting into it tonight.
I think it'd be fun to visit at the end of the year just to see where we did. Who was more right, or who was there we go. I like that. Who was more right?
Right.
I think we're both right. Just who was at the more victorious, like you said.
Right.
I like that too. So
we need to run a simulator with these teams and just kind of see the final result and screenshot and put it on screen for everybody. That'd be fun.
That would be all right.
Biggie comes in and says, I would love to trade Jarrett Stidham to the Saints for their backup quarterback, Spencer Rattler. I think that's who he's talking about. I don't know how much of an upgrade Spencer Rattler is. Again, I wasn't a huge Spencer Rattler guy coming out of the draft really either, but I think if we're trading Jarrett Stidham, probably getting a draft pick back, and maybe they even end up cutting Stidham. I don't know what Stidham's value is at this point in time. I think at one point last year in the preseason, I think his value was kind of high, but like now after the AFC Championship game, teams are like, I don't know if he's a starting quarterback now, or anywhere close to that. So it's like, what are we getting with Jarrett Stidham now? So I don't think his value is too high right now to even trade him. And the Broncos might just release him at some point in time. But we shall see if Ellinger can beat him out.
It was definitely a bad showing. A bad showing. I mean, I don't think it's entirely his fault, but I don't think he helped himself.
Right. TW comes and says Coleman's ability to pass pro and play more in between tackles is going to play a huge factor in him taking over as RB2 midseason or late in the season. And again, if J.K. Dobbins can stay healthy, though, that's going to block Jonah Coleman a little bit too. So I think Coleman will be involved. I think it may take him some time to kind of truly take over this backfield, and I don't think he'll ever like take over, because Sean Payton likes to use multiple running backs. I think Davis Webb will do the same, just to kind of keep guys more fresh. But I don't know. I mean, I think J.K. Dobbins, his mindset's changed a little bit. He wants to, out to prove people wrong. Biggie comes and says, "You guys are a big reason that my mind, and I am still sane. I haven't lost it yet." Biggie, whatever we can do to keep your mindset right, please know that we're here to do that, and love having you a part of the show and having all of our fans part of the show. We really, truly make this show about everybody. It's not just about me. It's not just about Patrick. It's not about anybody else that's on screen. It's about trying to involve everybody in the comments. So just know we're trying to do that each and every show that we do, and you're a big part of that, my friend. So thank you very much for that. Whatever we can do to help you out, please know we're here for you. Martin says City's value is $8 million a year. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah, $8 million a year, and you could cut that maybe in half.
Easy, yeah. You could pay me league minimum to flub up that game like they did. I'd take that. Give me, what's league minimum? 285, 385. I'll take that to not score anything and
right.
I'd be
stand
all right.
on the sidelines with the coat on.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Patrick, this is a fun show. Appreciate everything that we were able to do tonight. I think we had a lot of great topics for everybody. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. As I take this off the screen, please give your final thoughts, comments, anything for our fans out there as we wrap up a great show tonight of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast.
Well, honestly, I think final thought wise, it was a fun problem to have to stay within our team and do the fantasy thing like that. I've never done a fantasy thing like that. So it made me look at things that I didn't think I'd be looking at and paying a little more attention to a couple of spots that I don't think I would have. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's where it's fun for me. That's what brought this in. And I'm glad it'll go forward. I hope it'll go forward at least. I mean, hopefully it goes well, but I appreciate and would like any feedback, even, even if I'm going to lose, I honestly would love to hear, because maybe I didn't look at something. Maybe I need to look at something. So, I mean, that's what makes doing this and reading comments and things, it helps me learn too. So I'm good with it. And you're right, Ernie. Go Broncos, man.
Absolutely. Patrick, I mean, again, just our ideas continue to get better and better each and every week, and the chemistry we have each and every week. But it's been such a great addition having you onto the show. We enjoy it a lot. I enjoy having you as my co-host a lot as well. And just love the discussion tonight. I thought we had a lot of great topics. But please, everybody out there, if you could do us a big favor, like, share, and subscribe for more. Just know, we appreciate each and every fan out there that we can reach. Any football fan, whether you are a Saints fan, a Raiders fan, anything, it doesn't matter what fan you are, what team. Please like, share, and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. We're expanding our network more and more. We covered Denver Broncos. We got post-game shows during the season. We're going to have a fantasy football show coming in the near future that we're looking forward to introducing everybody. We got the Juice Football Talk Show covering all 32 teams every week, every Tuesday. And then we have college football that we're implementing more and more as well. And that's what the Juice Football Talk Show is going to be about, as well as college football. And if we get closer more and more to college football, we will be introducing that as more and more. But please, tell your friends, tell your family, anybody you know is a football fan that will enjoy this show as much as you do. Like, share, and subscribe, and join us. Join the posse, because everybody sees we involve everybody that comes into our chat. Every show we involve everybody, so it's not about us; it's about you as well. Expanding our brand, expanding us out there, so we can continue to bring great content to you and continue to grow our shows each and every week for you all. But for me, for Patrick Wilsey, I want to thank everybody out there. My final thoughts is hopefully everybody has a great rest of your Saturday night, great rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Just know you're appreciated out there, and enjoy your day, because really, it just comes around once a year, and you never know when that may never come around again. So just know, from everybody here at Denver Bronco Roundup, Rocky Mountain Sports Network, happy Father's Day to everybody out there, and we'll see everybody next time on Tuesday for the Juice Football Talk Show. But until then, for me, Trevor Salzman, for Mr. Patrick Wilsey, Mr. Lion Coffee himself, we're out tonight. Thank you for everybody for watching. We'll see everybody next time. And as always, go Broncos.